Hey guys, Emily Smiley here. Welcome, wherever you are watching from. My hope for you is that if you are watching this, it is adding value to your business and it helps you move the needle toward your goals and what you desire to build, especially online. I'm so excited, you guys, about today's what I want to share. I've been kind of sitting on it for like 2 or 3 weeks, just before Mother's Day. But I don't know about you guys, but I was just watching one of those spoof videos last night. How people are calling it like Maycember, how busy May is. It's basically like December. And as a busy mama and entrepreneur, I was like, yeah, it's so crazy busy in May. So I really wanted to share what I've been digesting. And if you're interested in the full, I don't know if it was a podcast, it was more like a training. Just shoot me a message and I'll be glad to send it to you as we get into it. But basically, I listened to this like at least three times. Ended up taking a bunch of notes on it, and it was mind-blowing, like as far as changing your mindset towards your business. And basically, it's why your passion is not how you should build your business. Now, before you go like, what, Emily, what the heck are you talking about? Because most of us here, like, if your passion is your paycheck, then you'll never work a day in your life. And I simply believe that that's not true. No, I'm not saying, don't enjoy or don't go into business for, what you want. We'll get to that in a minute. But basically, this is not a new idea. You're going to be like, oh, that makes sense. But then there was just a slight mind shift, just maybe a little bit, like a millimeter. And it was completely game-changing for me. And I'll tell you why. So, first off, how many of you guys are like super busy right now in May? Like, I literally feel like I'm like pulling my hair out. So I want to really add value to your time because I understand that everybody is busy. All right, why your passion will not make you money. All right, so when you get into business, and I have done this, I went into teaching as a profession because it was my passion to teach, right? And of course, we know, teachers cap out at not enough. And so I quickly understood the importance of needing a dual career. So I love sports and fitness. So it made sense for me as an athlete and a collegiate athlete to move into the fitness profession. Again, I had a passion for it. Now, let me ask you a question. How many of you guys have gone into a job, a career, basically anything because you enjoy it and it's fine, but then you either outgrow it or it becomes not fun anymore, right? Let me know. Drop me an emoji if you went into your business or whatever and it started as fun and then it quickly became not. For me, for teaching, I loved teaching my students. But I'm not going to lie, you guys, I would get that paycheck and I would know how much I had to work for that paycheck, and I just never felt very valued. In the gym world, I loved what I did and I loved fitness, but y'all, I did not get a lot of clients that were like super into it as much as I was. Most of the time it became, it basically was a confession for everything that they didn't do. Everything that they didn't eat correctly, everything that they didn't work out correctly. I did have exceptions and I still teach and love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying sometimes, the passion of it is like the shiny object. And then when you actually delve into the path of it, it becomes a little less fun for you. Maybe you get burnt out. And there was a time, well, for both, that I've gotten burnt out. And that's usually a key indicator that it's time to move on, maybe a new passion, that kind of thing. But, that being said, even though I loved health and fitness, I had less time for it myself. There were parts of it that I didn't like. So let's say, for instance, I love, going to the gym, right? Does that mean that I should or should not open a gym? If I choose, hey, I love doing this, so I'm just going to open a gym. You guys, I have never, ever had a goal of really opening a gym. I never wanted to manage people. I never wanted to manage employees. I don't want someone calling me at 2 a.m. because some pipe burst in the bathroom or, God forbid something happened to someone. I just didn't want that kind of liability. It did not appeal to me at all. It was not my overall vision. So look at what you like to do and then look at what you don't like to do and the overall vision. And that's kind of what I want to delve into a little bit today, is the difference between, just because you're passionate about something doesn't necessarily mean it's your vision or your bigger purpose for what you should do. Hey, Jamie, I miss you. I think you're gonna like today's. Okay, so I'm so excited over this. I have to backtrack a little bit. All right, it did blow my mind just a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. All right, so when I started my own business, I've been an entrepreneur for a very, very, very long time. I was just telling someone yesterday that I literally used to sell thousands of dollars worth of lemonade in my backyard because I had a professional tour come through, so there was lots of people. So I already think that way. That being said, I understood, at least in business, that there were certain things about the job that I wasn't gonna like doing, right? I mean, we've all had that job, whatever it is. Like for me, for teaching, I loved connecting with the students, right? Least favorite, probably paperwork. And I think most of us could say that, right? Like whatever your job is, how many of you guys can relate? Is there something about your job you're like, yeah, that sucks, right? Like I love this aspect of it, but I don't love this aspect of it. So what is it that keeps you going or coming back? If you've got a job, it's probably, your job, or you're not gonna get paid, or you're gonna get fired, or you have a boss. But when you're an entrepreneur, it becomes a little trickier. And I think this is where people really get stuck. And this is where I was like, oh my God, this is mind blowing for me, because most people quit when it stops being fun instead of pushing through it. So I work with a lot of home-based businesses, network marketers, affiliate marketers online. And there's a lot of reasons why people either don't do well or they quit. And a lot of times when they get in, this incorrect picture is painted for them. Like it's going to be kind of easy, or, if you just love, if you love what you do, you'll naturally share it. You're not selling, when in fact you are. If you're trading, some sort of service for, a product or whatever it is, and you're receiving money, it is a sale. Yes, you may feel like you're sharing it, and yes, you may love it, but a lot of people, if you don't come to terms with that and allow yourself to be a business and allow yourself to have that transaction that takes place, you're in the wrong mindset already. And so you really need to understand the vision of what this allows. If you're offering something to people, if you're of service in any way, whether it's a product or information, with personal training, people paid for what I know, right? I may not be this Instagram, model with, half her clothes on anymore, and no one wants to see that. But, I have had those days. And so it's like, all right, you pay for what you know. So think about whatever profession that you're in. What do you know that people maybe pay you for? And a lot of times people don't know their worth, or they have a hard time asking maybe for the sale. So, I work with team and with people, and when they get to that sticking point, they quit because it becomes no longer fun. They're like, I don't want to be in sales, so I don't want to do this business anymore. Or let's say they've been building, traditionally or old school, and they want to learn online new school. If you're building online, y'all, when I started, it sucked. I am not gonna lie. I was like, I do not want to build a website. I do not want to do Facebook Lives. I do not want to build millions of followers. I don't want that many people staring at me. And then I started going down there, and I was like, okay, I started learning. And it's funny because when you start learning the skill set that you're missing, it does become more fun, right? So I was like, well, I don't need that many followers. Literally, 5 followers if they're gaining value from you. I mean, think about if you are a network marketer, 5 people, when I first started, they're like, oh, you just need 1 person on your team a month. One. All right. So what if I could do that per day? So you've really got to put it in the right perspective, because you may think online, but there's so many people that you can reach. You don't need millions of followers. But as I started going down those things that I was kind of fearful of doing, and I was like, this isn't fun. Why was it not fun? It was basically not fun because I was fearful of it. And then as I got better and more confident in it, it actually did become fun, right? How many times has that happened for us? I have to use my son as an example for this one. Okay, he plays a lot of sports. He's pretty gifted in the whole athletic department. I have a very girl and a very boy. And he did not want to do swim, y'all. And I put him in, and he was supposed to do this like test to be on the swim team, and he failed it, like on purpose. Like he sabotaged it. So I was so mad because I knew he could do it. So I put him in swim lessons, and he hated them. He's like, I mean, he already had the mindset that he was going to hate this sport. So guess what? He did. But I'm the mom. I'm like, I'm going to win. So then the next year I was like, well, you're going to do this again. So if you sabotage the test, then I'm going to put you back in the lessons, or you can be on the team with everybody else that's your age. So he did it, and he gets on the team, and as we knew he could, and he pitched a fit about the first meet, and he gets there. Hey, Jody. He gets there, and he looks around at the people that are in the same boat as him, and he realizes they're not really any different than he is. They're not really that much better. They're not really that much worse. He's not really as far behind as he thought that he was. And he decides that he's in it, and he's going for it, and he's going for it. And I think he gets like second place out of like, I don't know, 4 or 5 kids. And he was pumped, y'all. I mean, pumped. Then I had to take my daughter, so I was supposed to leave. We were supposed to leave early, and he had one more, and he started crying because he was disappointed that he thought that he could do better, and he wanted to continue. So my husband stays. So long story short, I go home. And you guys, like my son has won like his little football game. He's not older yet. And I never hear anything of it. If he wins the game, if he makes the shooting, you know, whatever. This kid came in and flings the door open, announcing that he had won his last race. And he was so freaking proud of himself. And why? That is a lesson for, I was like, oh my God, that kid just taught me like the biggest lesson. Because sometimes when we're good at certain things and we think like that's all that we're good at, and we don't set foot outside our comfort zone for a bigger vision or a bigger, picture of what it might look like, because we have such tunnel vision, then we really rob ourselves of so much. Right? Do I think he's going to be like, the next Phelps? Probably not. I don't care. But he was so proud of himself for reaching outside of his comfort zone. And in business, I look at that so many times. You think that you're in a certain realm, whether it's your company, whether it's, say you've been brick and mortar and now you really want to try to go more online, or network marketing, you want to go on more online. And you're like, well, I suck at technology, or I could never do this, or I could. So first of all, that's your mindset, right? I always say I'm never going to talk about mindset, and it always comes back to mindset because it's the truth. But when you look at what you desire to build, what is the outcome of what you want? What is your vision? If you will build your business based on the vision of what you want. So let's say, you want to automate more, because that was a very strong force for me, because what I quickly found out is the better that my team did, the more I was on the phone. And I was on the phone with people that didn't want to be on the phone with me, had no clue what they were coming to the phone for. I was like, this does not run without me. If I'm not on the phone for 4 to 6 hours every day, then I'm never going to be successful, right? How many of you guys have felt that? Please tell me I am not the only person that has felt that way. I was like, I've got to get this to where this can run without me. I've got to automate this. I've got to reach more people. And I was scared. I was like, there's no way I'm going to feel like a failure. But really, what was it? It was fear, and it was mindset. And as I started to go down those roads of learning that new skill set, I really gained a bigger vision of what this could be. So just like when I turned to network marketing and I was like, okay, it was mind-blowing that you could earn residual income, right? It was mind-blowing to me that you could do things differently and have a compensation plan that really is a viable profession. More and more people are doing it, right? Because you're going to make money doing it. And it builds. It was the same when I moved. When I got out of that tunnel vision of this is the only way to build, this is the only way to build, this is the only way to build, right? I mean, that was like kind of drilled into most of us. And I'm not knocking any of it. I still do some of those things. But when I quit saying that I couldn't do this, or I wasn't techie, or I could never be this way, and I allowed myself to add another stream of income, to learn to build online, and to gain a vision of what I could have, it looks so much better. I would never go back. Even if I had been immediately successful with my network marketing, I would never go back to that, because now I know what it would take to maintain that. And I don't want to work 12 to 14 hours anymore, y'all. I want to be with my kids. So what keeps me, learning and growing with those, new skills and strategies in learning to build online? It's the vision. So every time I sit down and I'm looking at metrics for some ad I'm running, or I'm trying to build a new, sales funnel for, people to reach out and talk to me and, add information or value, to you guys out there, I think, all right, what am I doing this for? I want to give back. I don't want anyone to feel how I did, right? Which is tunnel vision. And I don't want it to just depend on me. I want a bigger vision, a bigger picture. And I'm not going to feel super passionate about every single stage in the process. Sometimes you get to the end and you love it, and you never would have known that you loved it. And sometimes you might just suck it up, buttercup, and be like, you know what? I don't like writing ad copy. I don't like writing content or creating this or that or whatever it is. Like, maybe you don't ever like it, but you learn to do it. You're competent. Maybe you hire out for it. I don't know. But, you work through it. Why do you do that? So when you're in a JOB, you do that because you want to keep your job, right? When you're an entrepreneur, there's no boss hanging over you saying, okay, well, this is the bigger vision and this is the big step that you've got, this hurdle that you've got to jump to get to level up, to get to that new rank advance. You've got to figure out what you need to get to that next level. And you might not be super passionate about it. I feel like so many that are building their business, especially a home-based business, they keep it in the realm that they like to do, and it drives me crazy. I'm not going to get on a rant or a soapbox, I promise. But you guys, people will say, like, even when it was traditional, they're like, well, I only want to do phone calls. I will never do home parties, or I will never do this, or I hate that. Like, they just limit themselves off the get-go. It's the same building online, right? They're like, oh, I could never do a Facebook Live, or I could never build a sales funnel, or like, why would I build? No one would ever visit my website, or whatever it is, right? They're limitations that you set on yourself because you've already decided what you're passionate about and what you're not passionate about. Whether or not you even know if you are or not doesn't even matter, right? So just think about that. When I decided to be a teacher, I had to go to school. And there were certain skill sets that I had to learn. If you're a doctor or a lawyer, or whatever it is, right? You've got to go to school, and that takes time. And it takes time. And I think sometimes we have this misconception of building online because there's endless possibilities that you can build and create. But at the same time, I think we think it happens like this, right? I think there's that misconception. And it's so not true. It's consistent daily effort towards that goal or those visions that you've set for yourself. So, I desire to build bigger, and I really want that for you guys too. I don't want you to limit yourself within whatever, your company has allowed. This is why personal branding is so big. Attraction marketing is done so incorrectly, but people are trying because they recognize that it could be so much bigger than what they've already built. But they don't know how to get from this point to this point because there's this giant hurdle in the middle. And most people, if they don't enjoy, if they're not passionate about whatever that hurdle is that presents themselves, they quit. That's why you have so many team members that quit. If we start painting the vision for people, whether it's new team or people you talk to just in general, there are skill sets that take time to develop and a roadmap for exactly what you need to do to get there, then your vision that you had probably even before you started the other is the same. Does that make sense? I hope that's helpful, you guys. Because honestly, when I started traditionally, right, that vision was the same. I wanted more time with my family. I wanted to build bigger. I wanted to be paid for what I was worth. I wanted like true time freedom, right? For me, it wasn't like this gigantic paycheck. I wanted to be home with my kids. I wanted to still contribute to the family. Maybe for someone else, that's a gigantic paycheck. I just wanted my kids to be able to do whatever sports that they wanted to do without thinking about it. Or maybe for you, it's, financial security, whatever your vision looks like. Don't think that you have to be on the straight and narrow of whatever you're passionate about or your business or your products are without really considering all of these other options that are still the same vision. You just need to focus on new skill sets to get there. And that may take investing in yourself. And I realize this is like an ugly word in like home-based businesses, but it's the truth. So here's a truth bomb. If you open a new business, like let's say it's a brick and mortar, right? And it's like, I don't know. I don't even know the new stats, so don't quote me on this. Don't message me. I don't know. Say it's like $65,000 to open your new business. And you're in the red for like 3 to 5 years, and some close and they never turn a profit. right? So then everybody's doing network marketing and online or whatever. Why? Because there's less risk. Well, what happens when there's less risk? Well, you're not investing as much money, so then you don't have as much to lose. So what happens when you don't have as much to lose? Well, people don't work, right? Because if I've got $65,000, you better be damn sure I'm going to show up to work and get my money back, at least as much as I'm capable of. The problem is that when you don't have a lot of risk, people have this misconception that they're going to do well with nothing. So they want everything for free. So they don't want to pay to invest in their business. They don't want to pay for a website. They don't want to pay for whatever skills. They don't want to pay, to go maybe to your company conference. How many of y'all have tried to get your team to a conference and they're unwilling to go? Is it really their hobby or is it their career? Because I am always looking for people who want to build big. And it's great. I love people where they're at. That's fine, whatever you want out of it. Hey, Mindy. But you guys, they don't see the value of investing in themselves. People that move and rank forward, those are the people that you see at your company conferences, right? The people that, are reading their self-help books, right? Because that's what entrepreneurship is, right? It's a self-help course, basically. I know y'all know that's right? So focusing on yourself, investing in yourself. Maybe it takes investing. I've heard of people like, oh, well, how did you do that? Oh, I hired a sitter so that I could actually sit down and do 4 hours of work a day. Oh, okay. It's not rocket science. Look at what you need. Look at what skills you're missing. Look at the hurdle that's going to keep you there. And then don't say in the box just because you don't like it. So you need to really, what's going to push you to that next step? The overall vision that you have. So invest in yourself. Learn new skills. Be open-minded because you guys, that's what's going to move you forward. I hope that's helpful. It was mind-blowing to me just to think of the difference between, just building your passion and, you're never going to work a day. That's really unrealistic. It's really about what is the vision, the overall vision that you have for your family or your business or whatever it is that you're going for. What is it that you want? And then it's not enough, of course, not to just say it. You've got to backtrack, right? Just like you have a roadmap with your company, if you're in network marketing, they have it laid out for you, right? If this is what you want, you've got to back it up and you've got to figure out, okay, what do I need to do? Emphasis on do, as in action, as in something, right? To get me from here to here and recognize that it might not be enjoyable in the beginning. Let's face it, let's be honest. It might take money. It might take time. And depending on you, it's so funny because I heard somebody recently say this is not me. They're like, you have 2 buckets. You have a money bucket and you have a time bucket. And usually you have to dip into one or the other. And if you think about it, it's true. Because when I was like, especially in college, when I was like broke, you knew that whatever it is that you wanted, it was gonna take a lot of time because you didn't have any money to put into it. And then, sometimes we just paid to get our dog trained. Why did we pay to get our dog trained? Because we threw money at it. Because we didn't have the time to train this dog. We just wanted him trained and it was worth every penny. So you have 2 buckets, right? So when you're looking at what it is that you need to look at the same way. If you've got extra time and you're going to put into building that skill set, that's fine. Maybe you take a little shortcut and you pay somebody to help you get your website, right? You pay for a mentor that will get you there faster usually. One or the other, they've got to give. And then figure out what skill sets that you're missing to get you to that overall vision, to get you over that hurdle of whatever it is that you're not super passionate about, right? I think it was, who was it? Somebody at one of the most powerful women in network marketing. She was talking about the very, very, very same thing. And she's like, if you don't possess this skill set, go find someone that has it and get them to help. And that's so, so, so true. If you do not have a mentor and you're not investing in yourself, go get one. All right, you guys, I hope this was helpful. Share it. Maybe you have a team that needs to hear this. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.